You should not be charged any dealer fees when buying out your car lease. That's been the focus of two recent Local 10 News investigations.
But despite the laws in place and consumers trying to fight back, complaints continue to come in. And tonight, some state lawmakers say it has to stop. Local 10 investigator Jeff Heinzier is back on the case.
I'd like to see the consumer not get screwed.
State Representative Dan Daly talking about consumers like Adonai De Silva, who claims he's unexpectedly being charged close to $1,500 in dealer fees to buy out his current lease, even though his contract clearly says he'd pay $0 in fees if he purchased his SUV.
It's in writing, right. It's on paper.
And they were able to tell you point blank, we're not going to honor this.
That was exactly their words.
I just give it back.
Stefano Daniello was hit with $2,500 in dealer fees, but showed a manager at a Lexus dealership a previous story we did showing those undisclosed fees were not allowed. All the fees gone.
All the fees gone.
It's mind-boggling how much dealerships completely disregard what they are allowed to do and what the law requires of them.
Attorney Joshua Fagan has or is about to file a demand for arbitration against 25 different dealerships. He says he can't sue because of an arbitration clause in the contracts, but even so,
it could be quite a hefty burden on the dealership.
Those dealerships are charging dealer fees or forcing consumers to certify their lease buyouts, which also adds a cost.
The dealership has no obligation to make any sort of inspection of the vehicle, do any sort of inspection, nor certify that it's roadworthy at the end of the day.
Fagan says there is federal law. The Consumer Leasing Act clearly states all fees charged on the back end must be disclosed in the contract at the beginning. After we first exposed this issue in March, some consumers challenged past fees. A few dealers have made refunds.
Unfortunately, there's still consumers that are being taken advantage of to this day.
On top of a $992 dealer fee, the Coral Springs Auto Mall charges its customers a $449 electronic filing fee to the state.
What does that cost you as a dealer?
Well, it cost me $10, $8, $9, $10.
Only $10? Earl Stewart has been a dealer since 1968. He owns Earl Stewart Toyota in northern Palm Beach County, and he's the only dealer who would talk to us. He charges no fees, and he has the same questions we do.
Yes, why is this malpractice of dealers going so largely ignored? I salute Channel 10 WPLG for bringing this out. I can't remember the last time I've seen a state attorney general go after a car dealer.
I think that there are different state agencies that are passing the buck to each other and not really trying to get down to the bottom of how we solve an issue like this.
State Senator Lauren Book was vice chairman of Regulated Industries last year, and she too wants to know which state agency enforces this.
The system that is in place isn't working. We've got to make sure that the consumer, again, is being cared for. And so if that means we have to craft other policies to make sure that that is the case, then we do that.
The first time that we can actually file legislation on this would be in March.
A spokesperson for Florida Attorney General Ashley Moody says 40 complaints relating to lease buyouts have been received. They're investigating to see if they fall under deceptive and unfair trade practices. For consumers today, all of that means nothing.
I feel very disrespected by them. Very, very disrespected.
Jeff Weinsier, Local 10 News.
Well, the chief operating officer of the Coral Springs Auto Mall refused comment, and the Florida Automobile Dealers Association represents more than 1,000 dealerships statewide and provides legislative representation as well. Local 10 News reached out for comment on this issue, and so far, we have not heard back.